Lots of students have been asking those of us that teach seminar, how am I going to be graded in this class? And a lot of you have named getting a good grade in this class as part of what would make you successful this year. So we're going to take some time to go over how that happens for Futures Lab Seminar. Something that's really important to note is that this is not a gotcha. We are really trying to set up our evaluation of your learning in a way where you can be successful. What we want is for you to get the most out of Futures Lab Seminar and your Futures Lab pathway as you possibly can, even in these circumstances that aren't ideal. And what we want to do is take the stress and take the motivation of grades out of it. We want you to be motivated by learning about yourself and learning about things that will prepare you and build you a great foundation for your future rather than checking things off a list. What we have found is that when we have grades and a lot of details that need to get done in order to get good grades, we tend to focus on those details and the tasks rather than the learning and the reflection. And in this class, Futures Lab Seminar, the learning and the reflection is far more important than any grade. So we have set things up in order for you to be successful. These Futures Lab Essential Skills should look familiar to you. We did some work with them in the first weeks of school, and these were designed to apply to every learner, adults and students at the Futures Lab as areas for growth for all of us, regardless of our pathway and regardless of the class that we're in. There's quite a few of them on here. So what we did when we designed this Futures Lab Seminar class is looked at the ones that were most relevant to the content of seminar. So things like communication, project management, curiosity, flexibility. Those are things that are critically important to Futures Lab Seminar. These learning goals are how those essential skills that kind of are an umbrella for the entire Futures Lab translate specifically to Futures Lab Seminar that is a one semester class, right? So what's really important right now that we're learning about so much in this awareness unit is this learning goal of engaging in deep curiosity about beliefs and strengths and communicating what we've learned in a variety of authentic and different ways and communicating those things clearly so that others can understand it. Through our readers' response, we engage with a variety of texts for models and inspiration for our own work and our own ideas. And I'll give you a minute just to read through the rest of these on your own. But these are the learning goals specific to Futures Lab Seminar. So we have these learning goals. How does that translate to the nitty-gritty of what grade do I get at the end of the semester? How do I know how I'm doing? When you look in Schoology at your assignments for the last couple weeks, you should see that there is almost always a rubric attached to that work. And when you look at that rubric, it has specific language that come from our learning goals. Sometimes it's about taking risks to learn. Most of the time recently, it's been about communicating what you learned clearly. And then sometimes it's also about being curious about your beliefs and strengths. That's really what we've been focusing on in the beginning part of this awareness unit. So as you look at those rubrics, they're starting to evolve to either have 4 points where there's evidence present or 1 point for no evidence present. So this is how, if you do the work and you provide evidence, you receive 4 points and full credit. If there's nothing there, we get 1 point. Your grade is weighted for 80% being towards those essential skills and seminar-specific learning goals, and 20% being towards those projects that we're going to produce throughout the semester. So for the discussion about Futures Lab Seminar and grading, you have 2 things to do. The first thing is to think about what you've learned about how we're going to be grading Futures Lab Seminar and your core values. And what alignment or connection can you find between your core values and this approach to evaluation of student learning that we are taking in Futures Lab seminar. So that's the first thing. Connections between core values and grading evaluation in Futures Lab seminar. Second thing is to use the discussion as a place to ask questions, make comments, or seek clarification about things about how we are evaluating student learning for Futures Lab seminar. This might be different than how you've experienced things in a class before, so we welcome your questions and your comments as we do this. So thanks for your time. We look forward to learning more about how your values align with what we're trying to do in terms of evaluating student learning, and we look forward to answering questions. Thank you.